What's maybe a common misconception of deep fakes? Like, is there a misconception that, oh, it can't happen here or it won't happen to me?
I think probably to me right now, the biggest misconception is that it's going to be the CEO asking for gift cards because most of business email compromise or executive impersonation type of things, when this kind of memory people have is like, oh, it's going to be the CEO and they're going to be asking for money, right? And that does work still; it works a lot. So that's out there, and we get those type of attacks all the time. Saw those attacks be successful at my last company, so like they're happening all the time, right? I think that beyond that, there are a lot of more sophisticated attacks where people are going to impersonate folks in middle management and they're going to find a controller and they're going to find the controller's, picture and phone number and LinkedIn and other stuff. And then they're going to call up someone else in finance and the company. And, and then if they're really sophisticated, they'll do it in steps, right? Well, they're going to get information. Hey, do you know if we updated that wire process? Well, how does it work now? I forget. Like, oh, well, I need to get a wire approved. What do I do? Right. And then they like guide the other person, and that's where it ends up going.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it's going to become a little bit more advanced in terms of being able to handle, off the wall questions and reacting to it, as well as like probing for more OSINT, essentially, right? More intelligence until it can make that proper decision and bypass whatever control you have in place.
Yeah. I mean, look, just I'll just tell you because we do a lot of sales calls, right? And a lot of sales calls involve a lot of discovery and figuring out how companies do things. And we're talking to security professionals. And I'd say, most security professionals, even though they're really smart and they're careful and da 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 da, they're typically most are willing to discuss, the tools they use and kind of some of the things that they do now. And I don't, how much of that is really compromising information, who knows? But you do get enough that maybe it can if you were to use that to attack the organization, it would give an additional level of credibility that wasn't there before.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely makes sense. So with the AI, deepfakes getting better as time goes on, what are the recommendations that you're giving to, CISOs and different practitioners to better secure their environment and maybe even train or prepare their company, to address and react to these sorts of attacks?
Yeah, I mean, there's two things. There's awareness and there's controls. So on the awareness side, I think just getting everybody in your organization aware of the threats that are out there, how they're impacting your particular type of business, your particular type of company. Also for their role, right? Do things that are specific to their role on how they might encounter it in what they do every day, right? To make it really about them because we're all in our own little TV show. We're the star of the show and we want to know this stuff. So, that's what I would do on the awareness side. And then on the controls side, look, I would run simulated AI attacks, using some of these tools so they can experience it, they can see it. And that will really, make employees a lot more willing to understand why this is real risk and why the company needs to follow controls. And you should do your own audit of your controls, right? You should understand what are we doing today? What are we not doing today? How do we need to improve those controls as another element?
So does adaptive security provide that sort of training and that sort of like intelligence for their environment?
We do, yeah. So we do really three core things. One is we assess the risk, the organization to figure out where they're most potentially vulnerable. Number two, we run simulated attacks over SMS, real time deepfake phone calls, now even some video chat, which is in beta, and of course, email, where we use generative AI email. And then if someone fails or is part of their ongoing, normal training, we offer these fantastic training modules where you can access hundreds and hundreds of modules on AI security and other topics like coding security, sexual harassment, compliance, other things. Really quick and easy, 5 minutes long, 39 languages, mostly video. Employees have a very positive reaction, 4.8 out of 5 rating, and also gives you tools to make entirely new trainings and videos using AI in just minutes. So you can make all new stuff for your organization that looks and feels just like who you are at the organization, which is again just going to be more likely to make it relevant for the end user.
Well, that's interesting. That's fascinating because like normally with this sort of, social engineering training, right? Like you have to work with the vendor to make the update to the content and, even editing the content or making new content is very arduous even if you have access to be able to do that sort of thing. Like it's not an easy process. I mean, I remember when I was running, it was years ago at this point at the beginning of my my security journey, right? Running the phishing tests and creating the templates and, getting the domains in line, the certs to be validated and, crafting the email and whatnot. I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is essentially just an exchange server. Like I might as well just be doing this myself if I'm putting all this work in, within this tool that we're paying money for, right? So that's interesting, and that's a valuable approach too, because for the company, whenever you buy a new tool, you're always thinking about, oh, how many headcounts do I need to run this solution? What does that look like? Because yeah, there's the price tag on it, but then there's the workload on the back end of it, right? Does it increase workload? Does it take resources away from other projects and whatnot? So that's also something it sounds like you guys thought about when you were building it out.
Yeah, I mean, we did, and I think we're lucky that we've been able to build this product set kind of in this new era of software development to take a much more modern and I think sort of personalized, flexible approach to software where, a company can easily make changes to anything they want in the platform, whether that's the trainings or the simulations or the prompts or, the images, the videos. Like I think that customization is really king here for where a lot of software is going. And within security, you want that combination of best practice plus customization, and of course, wrapping that up in business that's been tested and proven to work at scale. And today we're working with over 500 different enterprise organizations with some of the best names out there using us, and we've learned from those all the different features and bells and whistles and things that you need in order to make it something that doesn't annoy and piss off the staff, because that's the other thing, right? It's really easy with this stuff to piss people off. So I think it's a fine line, and you got to make sure you're on the right side of it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's always that's always a big balance with like phishing tests and different, social engineering tests that we do throughout the years. That I remember one time, I was working for a credit bureau and I had like just started, and it was right around this time of the year too, where like the bonuses are about to be paid out. It's the holiday season and whatnot, right? And I get this phishing email, looks exactly like it should, right? And it says something about like my bonus and log in to view the bonus, and it's in the 401k portal, whatever it is, right? And something like 90% of the company clicked on it. And the only reason why the other people didn't click on it was because they didn't see it. They were like out of the office on vacation, And like the red team that was leading that effort, I mean, they really got chewed out like by the CISO and the CEO, because like the CEO clicked on it, the CFO clicked on it, like everyone clicked on this email, and they're like, this is completely like unfair. Like, what do you? And their argument, granted, their argument was not invalid. It was, you think the attackers are gonna, like not bring up your bonus during bonus season if they know this is when you're getting your bonus or something with your 401k, right? Like they're going to look for every advantage. But at the same time, there's a balance, I guess, because in an environment like that, there was actual real ramifications to failing a test like that. Like people can get fired for failing a test too many times like that.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. Look, different industries take it different levels of seriousness around these types of things, and there's different studies on the efficacy of this and that and the other thing. I think the bottom line for me right now is just how fast the AI capabilities are changing. Just think that employees need to understand what's possible and how it might be coming for them, right? Because as much as people might have figured out some of the stuff on traditional, misspelled emails and this and that, that's all irrelevant. All that research and all that material, it doesn't matter, right? Because it doesn't, right? It really doesn't, because we are in a new era of attacks. And I just throw out all that stuff out the window and say, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Also, I don't need my CDs anymore. That's also true, right? Like, I still have them, but I don't need them, right? And I think that, and I think that's something that security professionals need to recognize and adjust to the changing world that's happening, and that the answer they might have had on something, social engineering, it's maybe not working anymore, right? Or they're not ready for what's coming. Uh, Most of the organizations I'm talking to, I think there's a big feeling of we are not ready for what's coming and what's maybe at our doorstep right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I can definitely see deep fakes not just getting better, but being more widely used, like you mentioned before, like it's more accessible, you know?
Yeah, it's so accessible. And look, I think even sometimes to me when I hear deepfake, I think it like because deepfake is sometimes used as like a parlor trick, and people, minimize it a little bit by saying, "Oh, I can tell for that," or "We have ways to get around that." And it's like, well, let's go like a little broader. I'm talking about coordinated, impersonation, insider attacks with, flavors of tremendous amounts of public OSINT feeding into LLMs to run hyper sophisticated social engineering attacks. Like, forget the part around, hey, it looks like Joe, okay? The system, that's just the front end, that's just the base. Right. Everything else
Yeah.
that's behind the scenes, the brains of it is what's going to make these things really effective and what's driving, a lot of these, behind the scenes attacks that are happening now.
Yeah, yeah. Your deepfake doesn't do it justice because what we're talking about is it's not going to just look like you and sound like you, but it's going to answer questions like you. It'll, sound exactly like you when you're thinking about an answer. It'll, pull in all of that OSINT information and try to formulate the correct answer. So like deepfake definitely doesn't do it justice.
Hey, Joe, I saw you walking out of your, favorite cafe the other day. I got that by seeing your OSN history and seeing that you left a review for that cafe 6 months ago. And by the way, as you're walking by there, I was just wondering, and like, stuff like that, that
Yeah.
like manages to just immediately make the person say, "Oh, okay, that's that person. They knew that. That's pretty smart. Like they're on top of it." And really makes you think it's that human and that they're there and that they're that person. I mean, it's that's so powerful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're definitely moving into uncharted territory for sure. It's like we don't know what we don't know at this point.
I
Well,
couldn't agree.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Brian, I really appreciate you coming on. We're unfortunately at the top of our time, but it's been a fascinating conversation, trying to figure out where things are going in this field. It's like I feel like it's on the fringe of security to some extent, right? Like it's there, it's a looming issue. It's present, but not quite everywhere just yet that you guys are working hard to solve.
Yeah, I think it's exciting time. I really appreciate you taking time to learn about Joe, and I think it's important for the audience to just know what's coming, some things they should think about, and hopefully some steps to take it. And if they want to visit adaptivesecurity.com, ping us, learn more. We're happy to give them a customized run through that includes all sorts of custom deepfakes of them, executives, other folks that we're seeing, interactive video, voice, SMS, and pair that with incredible training.
Perfect. I was just about to ask you where everyone can find you. Well, I'll be sure to put the links down in the description of this episode. So if you're definitely interested in learning more, go ahead and check them out. They do a fantastic, it's a very quick phone call of a demo. And man, it's extremely convincing. I've seen it before and I was like blown away, to an extent where like how accurate it is, how good it actually is.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Really appreciate it, and hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode.